kids or grandkids ever, and they're in the playroom screaming, throwing things or whatever, and you go over and you're like, hey, tone it down in there. Maybe I was just told that quite a bit. I'm fond of it as a child. Tone it down. Bring the intensity level down. Bring the volume down. If we tone a color, we're going to take that intensity and tone it down. So it's not so bright blue. It's a little softer. Tonalities are generally what we see. It's easier on the eye. And tones are going to recede into the distances, into the backgrounds. So if we soften our colors for things that are going to go into the background, tone those colors down, then it'll optically appear that they're further away as well. Things that are really close up front, closer to the viewer, that's where you can use your more saturated colors that are a little bit more vibrant, a little bit more alive, and they'll optically appear closer to you than tones. All right, so I'm going to start with the background. Very easily, start with water. When I mix colors, I always start with the lightest value color. And then I add the darker colors to it until I get where I want to be. So with a wet brush, I'm going to start with white. It's my lightest value color. I'm going to add a touch of black to it. It doesn't take a whole lot of black to start making it gray.
If you didn't put the black in and you have white, and then you added blue, that wouldn't give you the depth of color, right?
It will give you a tint of the color. It would lighten the blue. And if that's what you need in your picture, that's okay. For this sake, and for most of my skies that I paint, I always tone down the blue just a little bit. And you can put as much black into it as you want, but realize just a touch of black goes really far in making a gray color. But I want my background to recede. I want it to look like there's distance. Now I have my gray, then I'm going to go into my blue and add just a little bit of blue to my gray. And now you can see how much softer the gray is going to be, the blue is going to be, because you mixed gray into it. And that's it. That's all there is to making a tone of a color. Now you can adjust it, and I call this little mixture a puddle. And I have typically my colors on the outside of the puddle, so I can draw from each color and modify my color. So if it got too dark, then I can pull more light into it. If it got too blue, I can bring more black into it. And I'm always bringing something into the puddle to modify the puddle. And sometimes I like to leave a little evidence of the previous color mixture somewhere in the puddle, so I'll have something to compare it to. So I'll know that, well, now it's much more blue than where I was. I'm going to tone it down a little bit. So I'm going to add a little bit more black to it to darken it, a little bit more white to it so that there's more gray in it, and it tones it back down.
Sir, we typically mix your colors like that, but if you have a larger area, would you automatically mix a large amount?
Sure. It would increase how much you mix into it. And that takes a little planning ahead, because if you foresee that you're going to need a lot of that color, mix a lot of the color first, because then trying to match that color is hard. I'm going to keep it thin with water. I'm going to dry it out, so that all I'm doing up here is adding a very thin glazed mixture of that color where I want it to be. And it doesn't take much color to automatically make a big difference on the way your picture looks. Now it's thin. I can still see my ground color. I can still see that orange and that yellow, and I can still see the brown. And because that white is on top of this part of the corner, it also lightens up this color just a little bit. I'll show you what I mean. So I'm going to take the same color, and I'm going to do the same thing over here.
When it dries, is it more opaque?
Not really.
Translucent? Yeah.
It can actually be a little bit lighter. same color, relative same amount of color that I put over here. But you can see the difference in this side and in this side. This side had a slight layer of white on my background, and so when I put the blue on it, the blue kind of piggybacks on that white, and it shows it off a little bit more. When I put the same color over here, there's no white layer, but there's this brown layer. So you can see how the same color has changed from one side of the canvas to the other based on what's underneath it. Easy enough? Now, if this isn't, light enough for you, you can go back and put another layer on it. Just to add a little bit more color. Now, I also have these spaces down here in my picture. I've already run out of paint, so I have to mix a little more paint. White, black, a little bit of blue. Mix a little more. And I'm going to mix it pretty well. I want to make a single color in my mixture. It's all streaky, and it's all streaky on your brush. When you add it up here, it's going to be streaky too. So I'm going to mix it pretty well. And this is where having evidence of that other color comes in handy. So you have something to compare it to. So I'll know what to add to my mixture to get it right. That's pretty close. A little water. If I cover up my highlights or cover up my shadows a little bit, then it's fine. You can go back and paint it back. Or just wipe it up with a towel once you have it. Now I have a nice soft, kind of a grayish blue, very pale. But it's thin and it sits right on top of all those other layers of things that I put on here. And I wasn't very careful about it. I just kind of, this is called scumbling. Typically with a drier brush, if you scumble a brush over an area that's fairly dry, then it's called scumbling. If it's nice and thin and wet, but transparent, then it's called glazing. And you can see all the variation in the strokes, and I like to leave some messy brush strokes and whatever, because it gives a lot of variety in your spaces that keeps it from looking too flat. Now, if you don't like this color, you can modify it pretty easily. Say I want to do a little bit of purple in here, so I'm going to add a little bit of red into my same mixture, just to create a little bit more purple. And I say, instead of blue, just blue, I want to put a little bit of violet in there.
Which red did you use?
I don't remember.
The light one or the dark one?
I think the dark one. A little purple. Right, it doesn't take a whole lot. Now this is the background, and I can be a little looser with my brush strokes in the background. But once I get in here, I'll probably be a little more careful with the brush. But just like that, very easily, you can apply colors on top of colors. Just remember to keep them thin so that you still have the transparencies of each color as you go. Now I want to change a little bit. I want to put maybe a little lime green into it or something. I'm going to start with my mixture up here. Same mixture. A little bit of chromium yellow. Your palette can be a playground. What happens if I mix this color and this color? I don't know. Just find out. I get that color. All right. I'll thin it down a little bit. That's kind of a green color.
If you put red in it, that would turn brown probably.
It would. Complementary colors mixed together create tones. They kind of neutralize each other. Now, just a little bit of green. Maybe I can selectively put a little bit of green on top of my blue and on top of my purple, just to add, a little touch of color, some other color, if you want to. I still want it to be thin, but it creates a lot of variation in your colors so that you're not looking at a single color. If you're looking at a single color, then your eye fixates on it and then it flattens it out. With color variations and all this kind of stuff going on and loose brush strokes, it keeps the eye moving so that you're looking at the whole picture all the time, all at once. And sometimes you can create paintings that are very busy that way, but it also makes them have the feel of being very active. And it's not the movement of the painting doesn't move. It's the movement of the viewer's eye. And when they look at it, they're looking over here, over here, over here, over here, over here. And if they keep the eye moving across a painting, then the eye doesn't get bored and it doesn't fixate on one thing or another, and it creates the illusion of space and movement and activity, and the painting looks like it becomes alive a little bit. Does that make sense? Simple background. Not the most important part of the picture, but some much needed color. I mean, look how far it's come in color right on top of those values. There's still some evidence of some of the yellow that's coming through here, some of the brown, some of the white, some of the texture with all the brush strokes. And now the background has its own space. Now I could go in and make it like the picture if I wanted to. There's some really dark spaces in here. And you do it the same way. You mix that dark color and then glaze it right on top of that to make those dark spaces. Very easily. So now my flowers. I don't know what color I want to make my flowers, but
You want to start?
what color do you want me to make a flower?
Pink.
Pink.
Do they start, you always start from the outside and work in?
I work from the background to the foreground. So the first flower we're gonna make it pink. I'm gonna start with white. So my lightest value color, I'm gonna add red. Red plus white makes pink. That's easy. All we have to do is lighten red, and now we have pink.
Would you put black in that to gray?
No, because I want the flowers to be really saturated. Just as a demonstration. Now you can make them dark if you want. I'll leave it to you. Very thin paint right across the whole flower. Now it's pink. Now, I went over the darks, and I went over the lights, and wherever I went over the lights, it makes a light pink, and wherever I went over the darks, it makes kind of a muddy, kind of dark pink. All it's doing is creating the initial color that I wanted to make the flower. If I want it to be a little bit redder, I'll add a little bit more color. Try and paint within the lines a little bit. But I'm going to go right over the whole thing. Check it out. Treat the glazes sometimes just like a blanket. It's going to cover everything nice and evenly. And wherever it's light underneath, it's going to create a light version of that color. And wherever it's dark, it's going to create a dark version of that color. Now from here, you can go in and you can modify it, you can modify it, you can modify it. You can put more darks in here. You can add a little bit of black to your red to make kind of a dark maroon red. And then you can come in here and kind of put some of your darks back into your flower wherever you need them to be. but the process is the same. It's nice and thin, so we mess up slower. And it's the same red, we just change the value of the red. Change a little bit more, darken a little bit more. Just add a little bit of black to the red, still the same red, but now much darker. Then I can come into some of these shadows areas with color, because I've already got a good map of where the shadows are and where the highlights are. I just put it right in, right where I need it to be. The purpose of the underpainting is to tell you where the image is so that you can place the color right on top of it. And the better the underpainting is, the easier it is to place those colors in. And then in further development, then we can, find those dark shadows again and kind of put some right back in here. And detail out your flower as much as you want. If you covered some of the highlights and you want to put them back at this point, guess what? Get right back into your highlight colors. Lighten it up with white. And put a light pink right back on top of it to accentuate the highlights. Now I don't put straight white back onto it. I mix it still and make it just a very light pink. That way the colors go together. They have a family resemblance. Did I give you my gradient analogy?
Yes.
They have something in common. It's still the red, it's just a lighter version of that red. And I can put highlights right back into it, wherever I need. And paint, and paint, and paint, and make my rose look like what I want it to look like. Maybe the next one we'll do. Well, it's already yellow. I want to make it green. Just for color purposes. I'm going to start with the deep yellow. Last time we made it green with this yellow, so I'm going to start with the deep yellow. But I use the same blue. It's going to give me a different kind of green.
You wouldn't want to put a bright red on that with a flower that was too contrasty.
You can. It's up to you. It's your flower.
But, I mean, it's kind of a movie looking image.
Well, it is. And I mean, these flowers are all gray because she's dead. And it's sad. But I'm going to put color in it just to kind of show the process. If you wanted to do them all gray, black and white makes gray. And you can make dead gray flowers. Just for demonstration purposes, I want to do color on these things. Just so we can have some green. I don't even know if they make green roses, but they do in my painting.
Well, they probably do, they have every color.
Yeah, they do whatever they want.
They don't grow green.
They dye them later or something.
Yeah.
Alright, now. And then I can modify my green a little bit more, maybe darken it, put a little bit of blue into it, make it kind of a bluish green. And I can come right back in on my shadows, put a little darker bluish green in it. And you can spend more time and get, real picky with how you're painting these. I'm just kind of going over it very quickly, show you how it works. And it's messy. But it works in the same way this one does. Then, okay, now I need to put some of my highlights back. So I'm going to go back into my white. And maybe even back into my yellow a little bit. This works for trees and bushes as well. I'm gonna take that same color and I'm gonna lighten it a little bit. We made it the green on the blue side, and now I'm gonna make the green on the yellow side by adding more yellow and a little bit more white to lighten it. Then I can come in and just glaze right on top. A lighter color. If it's not sticking, add more paint. If it's too thin with water, it's going to be so transparent that it's not making a big difference. So you just add a little bit more paint. Right, I'm just going to slap it up. And then this one we can do blue or wherever you want to do. Now, obviously, you can spend more time with this and really, put some darks into it, put some lights into it, explore some of the depths, but you already have a model to go by. That's the important part. You already have the complete value study to go by. All right, now what? Do some flesh tones. People struggle with flesh tones a little bit. Now, really, the only flesh tones on this are going to be her neck and her chest and whatever. But I'll split her face in half, and I'll paint half of it with flesh tones and half of it with something else. Why? Just to show you how the flesh tones work on one side of the face. Because her face is all white. But that's makeup. Just for demonstration. So I'm going to start with white. I have a little bit of burnt sienna. And sometimes that's all it takes to make a flesh tone.
Yes. Whereas when you use just the primary, oh my God.
It can be rough.
Yes.
Now, in a video that I showed you guys of that guy that was demonstrating the painting, he used yellow ochre and cad red. So, demonstrate that. I'm still going to start with just a little bit of white. And instead of yellow ochre, I've got the deep yellow. And instead of cad red, I have some of this red. The other red might be better for it. This red tends to be slightly purple. A little bit on the blue side as far as red is concerned. A little more white. Just to lighten that up. So a little bit of red, a little bit of deep yellow, and then I have kind of my peachy color. Pretty close. Depending on ethnicity or whatever of your painting, of your portrait, maybe it's I need a little bit more brown in here. Just for a little darker skin tone. A little bit of brown kind of makes it a little creamy, darkens it up a little bit. Now remember, we already have a bunch of shadows in here, so all I'm going to do is just lay that color right on top. So here's my mixed flesh tone, a little bit of brown in it. Here's my burnt sienna flesh tone. They're not too different. But I arrived at that color in two very different ways. If I like the burnt sienna one, then I can add brown to it as well, just to kind of tone it down a little bit. And then just with a very thin glaze, I can go right on top of my shadows and my highlights with that color. Now with my shadows and my ground color that's already built into my image, a lot of those tonal variations are already there. You're just putting a slight modification on top of the ground color that you already put. And that's why I use this color, ground color, in most of the paintings, especially when I'm doing portraits. Because a lot of the work is already done for you with the ground color and the values on top. All we're doing is just modifying it a little bit now and putting just a little bit of this kind of flesh tone color on top of it.
You're putting both kinds on pressure once, both colors.
Well, I had some over here. And I ran out, so I picked it back up over here. And I messed up over here and I put blue, so I put that out. asthma substitute? Teacher in asthma. Now, wherever it's dark underneath, you have a darker flesh tone. Wherever it's light underneath, you have a lighter flesh tone. The flesh tones can be as easy or as complicated as you want to make it. And the stores are going to sell you 15 different flesh tones in different brands of paint. And they're all going to be slightly different. And I've even gone through the process of, I'm going to do a little bit of this one, a little bit of this one, a little bit of this one. It can be simple. But depending on what you want your flesh tones of your painting to look like, you can make it as complex as you want. I mean, you could bring a lot of color into your flesh tones as well, and that gets a little more complicated.
What colors would you add if you're adding colors to flesh tone?
If I'm going to complicate my picture a little bit and bring in some of the reflection of the environment, right? So on this side of the environment, I've got a little bit of purple, a little bit of green, a little bit of blue. So I can take these same colors and just slightly glaze them into this side of the face, and that's going to bring some of the background into the foreground. And that way your eye is going to pick up the colors here, and it unifies the palette, and it makes the face a little bit more complex than just flat flesh tones. But that's an aesthetic that you decide what you want when you're painting. You don't have to do it that way. So let's see, I'm going to split her face right down the middle, and I'll do this side flesh tones, which is very easy.
What color did you start with? I heard burnt.
This color mixture, I started with white. I mixed the deep yellow into it, a little bit of the red, and a little bit of the brown. Burnt sienna mixture I made over here. I didn't really use that one. But I can if you want. That's even easier. So I'm going to start with white. And I'll take some burnt sienna. And I'll just light just a little bit of burnt sienna. Doesn't take much to make a very light, kind of pinky flesh tone. And if it's too pinky for you, you can take a little bit of brown and tone it down a little bit. Tone it down.
Brown is the dark one.
This is the raw umber. And you have to be careful with it. The raw umber has a little bit of green in the brown. But there it is. And then very thinly, I'm just going to blade it. See, the color's not that different than what I used earlier. And I'm just going to glaze it right on top with everything else. On the lips too. Unless she's wearing makeup, like lipstick or something, then you might put another color in there too, right? So it doesn't take much. Now it looks like she's got a little bit of blood pumping through the veins. Wakes her up a little bit. Pinks her up a little bit. You can even add maybe a little bit more red to it if you want it to be just a little bit more pink. That's too much. And it's easy to scribble the color in. Just to pink it up a little bit. Still very thin and very lightly. I'm going to put it on here so I don't mess up. But maybe just put a little bit more color into the flesh. Give her a little bit more life, even though she wants to be dead.
The people that make the faces of the real dead people, do they need this class? Somewhat?
What do you mean? The real dead people?
You know, at the funeral home.
Oh.
I've seen people that don't even look like themselves.
I have no That's the first time I've ever been asked that question. I never really thought about it.
Well, you're making different colors of that, so that's why I asked. Because there's beautiful ones that just
Yeah,
look
they're
their
really-
face on the apron, you know, they're.
Because of this one, this one's the red.
That's what I'm saying, will they make this class?
A little bit more pink
Yeah, that's
on the lips.
fine.
Now I have a big difference between a face with no makeup and a face with makeup on. It's very quickly and very easily. It's just a thin color. I didn't make it too complicated. White, burnt sienna, a little bit of brown, and then I put a little bit of red into it. Kind of feed it back up. You're going to do a lot of mixing on your palette before you apply it here because you want to make sure you got your color right. Now, a friend of mine has patented what they call the parallel palette. And he does it with oil. Acrylic's been around, but he does it with oil, in which he does, portraits with what he calls parallel palette. That way, you're mixing your color here and you're putting it here. And it's side by side. If you're doing it here and then coming up here, sometimes the color looks awesome here, and then you go to put it up here, it's wrong. It's too dark or too light or whatever. Because you're seeing the palette in a different way. If I see the palette like this, all the light is shining right down onto it like this. But my picture is upright, so it's going to get a different kind of light on it than it is my palette. He uses parallel palette because it gets the same light and the true color here is going to be here. And he's got a patent on it and all that kind of stuff. I don't know why people have thought of that before, but he did. Whatever. And his paintings are extraordinary. But you might end up doing a lot of mixing here before you ever put it onto the painting, because color mixing is an art form in itself. Now to modify something, you can see I still have darks under here, and I haven't done anything to her eye yet. So I'm going to mix a little bit more paint. White, a little burnt sienna. Kind of makes it that orangey, kind of peachy color. I left some of the previous color so I can match it.